It pays to have a unique look in Hollywood. Most actors do. If you're wondering where Teddy Bear is, I put him on the couch. So he's on a date with his boyfriend. Anyway, back to the video. So most actors have a unique look in Hollywood, but some have an uncanny resemblance to another actor. In this week's video, I'm counting down 10 more actors that have an uncanny resemblance to other actors in a series of doppelgangers. Part 3. Let's get into the video.
Up guys, a lookalike sends my heart rate into a spike.
Scott Caan is the son of actor James Caan and is an actor, director, writer and former rapper. Wait, what? Yes, he was a rapper, believe it or not. He was part of the 90s hip-hop duo The Hooligans, whose debut album, Make Way for the W, was their only album before they broke up in 1994. Caan has come a long way since his time as a teenage rapper and began his acting career in the late 1990s, appearing in a number of independent films and low-budget films, before landing his breakout role in 1999's Varsity Blues alongside Paul Walker. He became someone to watch in the early 2000s as he made appearances in several notable movies like Gone in 60 Seconds, American Outlaws, Oceans 11, 12 and 13, and then he teamed up with Paul Walker once more for 2005's Into the Blue. He's had a successful career on the small screen as well, starring in series like Hawaii Five-0 and Alert Missing Persons Unit. Who does Scott Caan look like? Ryan Gosling, who has received various accolades including a Golden Globe. He started his acting career at the tender age of 13, and the first time I saw him was when he portrayed Hercules in Young Hercules. Do you remember that show?
We'll never catch Chiron. Sure. He's got twice as many feet. Well, I got 2 and you got 2 and you add us together, we're just like a centaur, right? Huh?
Kent McCord is an American actor best known for his role of Officer Jim Reed on the TV series Adam 12, which aired for 6 seasons between 1968 and 1975. Before becoming an actor, he worked at his father's gas station and even worked at an airport.
Around 6'2", 200 pounds. White shirt and blue jeans.
What about the woman?
A little younger. Redhead.
While McCord was still in college, 2 serendipitous encounters with Ricky Nelson and Elvis Presley on the college football field would eventually lead to his acting career taking off, when he starred alongside Nelson on the TV show The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet and was even cast in several Presley movies. And who does Kent McCord look like? Taylor Lautner, who is best known as the ex-boyfriend of singer Taylor Swift and of course for portraying werewolf Jacob Black in the Twilight Saga film series. Lautner was named Hollywood's highest paid teen actor in 2010, and yet Lautner's early promise as an actor seems to have waned. With several of his movies after Twilight being panned by critics and fans alike, he shifted his focus to projects that better suit him as an actor.
We feel super honored because all of our guests have been able to be super vulnerable and talk about some real stuff.
Roger Davis is best known for acting in the television series Dark Shadows and Alias Smith & Jones. He started his acting career in 1962, and in 1964 he appeared in an episode of the hugely popular sci-fi series The Twilight Zone. But it was only at the end of the 60s that his career finally started gaining momentum when he was cast as various characters on Dark Shadows. Roger Davis's unique facial features makes him a dead ringer for Bill Skarsgård, who is a Swedish actor who is responsible for many people's fears of clowns when he portrayed Pennywise in a 2017 remake of Stephen King's It.
Time to float.
His father Stalin and his brother Alexander are both actors, but if you ask me, Bill is a better one of the 3. His career only started a couple of years ago, but I think we can expect great things from this actor.
I would like to think of myself as a physical actor. I'd like to perform physically, and this was a huge challenge for me.
Do you remember Geoffrey Horne? After struggling to get his foot in the door for several years, in July 1956, he successfully auditioned for a small role in The Strange one of the earliest on-screen depictions of homosexuality and homophobia in the army.
Relax, Georgie. Obviously he was asleep.
He wasn't asleep, Dad. I'm telling you, he wasn't asleep.
Georgie, take a bicarbonate of soda and go on back to bed.
Though not a huge hit, the film received critical acclaim and opened the door for future projects. He continued acting throughout the 50s, 60s, 70s and even the 80s, and had a fairly successful acting career. If you ask me, Geoffrey Horne's double has to be Adam Scott. Scott started his acting career in the 80s, but most people know him for his role on the TV series Parks and Recreation. His career consisted mostly of TV roles, but he has made appearances in movies like Hellraiser Bloodline, The Aviator, Knocked Up, and Piranha 3D, but to name a few.
Also, I'm giving you an advance on next month's rent, and I want you guys to go to Bed Bath & Beyond and buy everything on that list. Ben Wyatt reporting for duty.
Adam Scott might look like Geoffrey Horne, but Scott also has a doppelganger of his own. Who else does Adam Scott look like? Fred Ewanik is a Canadian actor who is best known for his role of Hank Yarbo on the Canadian comedy series Corner Gas, a role that he portrayed for 6 seasons between 2004 and 2009.
That's a common misconception. There's actually only 7 bones in the human body.
Please stop talking.
He made his acting debut in 1998 on an episode of the New Addams Family TV series, and has made appearances in several movies as well.
Hey, you guys carry dynamite?
That's funny because we were just talking about getting more impulse items.
Tom Berenger was definitely a hunk from the 80s, but he started his acting career all the way back in 1975 when he portrayed Tim Siegel on the soap opera One Life to Live. In 1977, as his career was starting to take off, he was listed as a promising new actor of 1977 in volume 29 of John Willis's Screen World.
Ellie, I love this before it hits the floor.
What made his film appearances so great was not only the fact that he was a handsome actor who could actually act, but also the fact that he didn't shy away from showing some skin on screen. In fact, Barefax, which was a printed guide on nudity and motion pictures, awarded him the highest score possible for his scenes, especially in the movies In Praise of Older Woman from 1978 and At Play at the Fields of the Lord in 1991. Who is Tom Berenger's twin brother from another mother? Mickey Rourke, who has attracted a lot of attention over the years, first as a heartthrob, then as an acclaimed actor, and over the last decade or so for his liberal use of plastic surgery. Though his resemblance to Berenger is less obvious today, you have to admit that Rourke and Berenger were both hunky actors from the 80s that we shouldn't forget about.
My next guest is a French film star who has caused ladies to pass out at the very sight of him. But will you welcome, please, Alain Delon?
Alain Delon, he was considered a sex symbol of the 60s and 70s, receiving the title almost immediately after starting his acting career. The outstanding heartthrob began to attract the attention of filmmakers in the 1950s and gained international acclaim in the 1960s with notable films such as Purple Noon, released in 1960, and The Leopard, released in 1963, and became one of the most celebrated actors of his generation. Just like Delon, his double was quite a heartthrob back in the 90s and early 2000s. People of a certain age will be well acquainted with the 90s heartthrob Josh Hartnett, who steadily dominated both our screens and teen magazines until he suddenly disappeared from the limelight in the mid-2000s.
That's enough. I can't take it, Mom. He's dead. Michael Myers is dead.
In recent years, Hartnett prefers to work with established directors, and that's why his career is seeing a resurgence with his roles in Trap and Oppenheimer, albeit the last one being a significantly smaller role.
I'm not the guy you're looking for. I don't live here.
Yeah, well, you look like the guy that lives here.
Then you don't know what the guy that lives here looks like.
Please welcome Dr. June Ross Mitchell and Lily, the young subject of the book, Conversations with the Devil.
You might be wondering who is David Dastmalchian, but he started his acting career in the mid-2000s with his breakthrough role portraying the Joker's henchman, Thomas, in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, and he has gone on to have quite a successful career, even though I always confuse him with his doppelganger.
Like Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga, the witch.
He has appeared in countless movies and TV shows, making 3 appearances in comic book adaptations, namely The Dark Knight, Ant-Man, as well as the DC series Gotham. He has one of those unique faces and I can't always seem to place it. That is until I started doing my research for this video. It was only while watching 2024's Blumhouse horror movie Afraid that I finally remembered who he reminded me of. Can you guess who is a dead ringer for David Dastmalchian? David Dastmalchian. Jim Caviezel started his acting career in 1991 with a small role in My Own Private Idaho and steadily built up a name for himself in the years that followed. Most moviegoers know him from his performance in Passion of the Christ, but he has many great roles under his belt, including roles in movies like Frequency, Escape Plan, and my personal favorite, The Count of Monte Cristo.
Hey, listen, you were meant to be on the show a couple of months back, or about a month ago. What happened?
I don't know.
I think you do.
No, I don't know.
I think you do. What happened?
I have no idea.
Eric and I killed our parents together, so...
Although he's been acting since 2007, Cooper Koch has only been picked up by everyone's radar in the last couple of weeks with the release of the Netflix series Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Mendes story.
See you around. Yeah. See ya.
Only 2 years after his breakthrough role in 2022's horror film Swallowed, publicly gay actor Cooper Koch has now fully elbowed his way to the forefront of the most popular actors in Hollywood. Koch stated in interviews that he has struggled in the past as an out gay actor, but persisted to land parts in projects opposite legendary actors like Kevin Bacon and now Javier Bardem.
Eric had released a statement saying that this series was a dishonest portrayal, but he hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Did he step back from any of those comments?
No, he stood by them, and you know, I understand where he's coming from.
So who is Cooper Koch's doppelganger? Jeremy Sisto is a 90s heartthrob whose career took a completely different path than the one he set out for himself. Starting his acting career in the early 90s, he established himself as a teen heartthrob with the teen comedy Clueless, as well as a psychological horror Hideaway, and he was one of the 2 actors shortlisted for the role of Jack in Titanic. And I think you know who got the role.
I'm flying! Jack.
Nonetheless, Sisto continued acting, and although he spent most of his career under the radar of most, he is an incredibly talented actor.
I kept wondering what the director saw in you, because obviously, is this pretty much the way you looked when you first met him?
Yeah, very, very, very similar actually.
I think it's safe to say everyone knows who Chris Pratt is, or Daddy Pratt as many of his gay fans call him these days.
Pee on me! Who's that?
Oh, that's just Bracer.
Pratt started his acting career in the early 2000s and rose to prominence with his role as Andy on Parks and Recreation, a role that he played for 126 episodes. During this period of his career, he made several appearances in TV shows including Everwood and The OC, but it was his role as Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy that really established him as a leading man in Hollywood. His road to success wasn't an easy one, as he was homeless and living in his car before his career finally took off. He even had a job working as, he calls it, an unsuccessful stripper.
Is that why you were the stripper?
That was,
You were a stripper?
well, not like a very successful stripper. You know,
how were you an unsuccessful stripper?
I bet you're wondering who's Chris Pratt's double. Derek Thieler worked as a model before he became an actor, appearing in commercials before landing his first major role in 2012 when he was cast as Danny Wheeler in the ABC comedy Baby Daddy.
Who am I? Oh, Ashley. I was just,
He portrayed the character for 6 seasons, but since the series ended, we haven't seen much of him, which is such a shame. Do you agree that he is the ultimate doppelganger? Are there any actors on this list you don't agree with, or actors that you feel should have been included that have not been included in one of my previous videos? Let me know in the comments. Did you watch the other 2 videos in the series? If not, I'll put a link to that series on top here, which you can check out. Also, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Over 75% of viewers aren't subscribed yet, and it will really help with the algorithm if you click like on my videos. I'll see you in the next video.